Oh, okay. So now it's going to behave. So let's get some data here.
Okay.
So I need the directions and the words.
Okay, hang on.
In order.
Okay, and so this one is stop. There's dead.
Okay, I'll remember the directions then. Southwest, southwest, northwest, east, north.
I think there's even like there's actually arrows. I'll write them down after I'm done that. This one's full. Slow is here. Wait. Almost done. Don't. Half. And full. Okay, now let me just write down the directions of the arrows. That way. That way.
It's all a continuous line.
I know. I'm sure I don't forget. Ah. Okay. Alright.
Okay, so if I remember, we're going south. And west. And southwest. And northwest. And east. And then north.
Yep. Yay. Looks like a wiffle bat. It's a very small one. Okay.
Okay, so I need the words in order.
Okay. First full. Then half. Then slow. And full again. Then half. Dead. Then stop. There it is.
Oh, do I have to check it? Come on. I have the watch. I know I have to change the time. Let me do it. Oh, do I have to show the watch to this? There we go. Thank you, Ace.
Yay. There we go. The dead captain. Or somebody at the wheel.
Okay, can I just cheat this? Oh, you need power first.
Oh, yeah. They thought of this. No shortcutting this time.
Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be Zero. Don't you get it? Well, there's that spell Zero on the TV screen. Captain's clothes he's got on. And of course, the bracelet with a 0 on it. It's too obvious.
Look. This is 0. Right here. This dead body is 0.
Doesn't that seem kind of funny to you?
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. Sure, they didn't think it would work. Which makes me wonder, why did they do it? I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking about with a 0 bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, I did it. You know, with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything 0 is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was 0. And put the bracelet on him anyway. You know why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us.
Too bad, suckers. This isn't 0.
It's the same bad joke that a lot of criminals like to play. Just sit back and watch people run in circles.
Look. Here I am. What's wrong, guys? Come on, catch me if you can.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. Like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
Junpei bent down next to the corpse.
Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
What's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is?
Why would I?
Junpei sat back on his haunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover.
What?
Gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
Clover didn't move. Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own. He grabbed hold of the area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as he did, something fell from the man's left wrist. Aha! The bracelet with 0 on the face. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1, you escape from the ship. 2, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. Junpei stared at the bracelet.
This man. He's dead, isn't he?
Huh?
No, it's just... I guess I didn't really think about it until right now. His bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Well, that's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure that out, that he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it is pretty obvious. Looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though, you know? I mean, if there wasn't all this blood, we'd almost look like you're still alive.
Huh.
I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but it kind of has it better, you know? Dying from a bomb going off inside you?
Junpei, shut
That's
up.
just... Those snake's bones went right through his skin.
Shut up.
The explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something. There's a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm.
And there we go. Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to Clover. She was glaring at him furiously, even though she looks just shocked.
What did you say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean...
No. That's not what I'm talking about. What do you mean? What did you say about his arm?
Arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but... Wait, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him.
Clover took a quick, deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Junpei thought back.
Oh, this picture clears up everything.
Splatter!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me!
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It's pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
No sooner when the words out of his mouth... No sooner were the words out of his mouth that Clover's expression changed. Suddenly she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It was close to the last thing he expected to hear. Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
Thank you, Junpei.
She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. Yay! Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms.
Oh, that's just much nicer without the axe. Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just, I'm so happy.
Why?
That body in the shower room. It isn't his. It isn't my brother.
Huh?
It's not Snake.
Why on earth would you think that?
Because his left arm is...
She stopped herself.
I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant that the body in the shower room wasn't Snake's. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
He's still alive. I'm so happy.
Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight.
Junpei, you were right. No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all those things, that'll bring you good luck.
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
I had only made it here because you gave me this. I was so surprised of everybody and...
Try again.
Sorry. Ugh. Sorry, it's very blurry. I was suspicious of everybody, and I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me,
Junpei hadn't thought his words would have such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting elsewhere in the room.
If you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf? I got that from him, too.
Oh. Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei.
Huh?
He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. 6 steps to the left, 6 steps to the right, another 6 steps to the left, and then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Her eyes were serious, but not angry.
Yeah, he did. Did I, say something wrong?
No, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news. I think.
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Subjects?
They're the people who were in the experiment 9 years ago with my brother and me. Dun-dun! But he's blind. And I was part of the Nevada test group. So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa, time out!
Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start at 1 and then move to 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
Clover nodded.
Alright. Let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about the morphogenic fields?
Almost. Morphogenetic.
Morphogenetic. He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine. All right, how about this? Theory of telepathic mechanism. Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on the ship.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
Then why aren't you more of a help? What?
The nonary game. 9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada. And the game started.
Though, to her credit, this was supposed to be 9 years ago. I don't remember everything that happened in this game
To detail.
5,
years.
6 years ago.
Junpei grabbed the sides of his head.
And I don't have being 9 as an excuse. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What does the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other?
2 teams. Clover bit her lip. She blinked back, sudden tears. What had happened to her in Nevada?
The ability to access morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops into your head? That's an epiphany. And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Junpei felt the sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada, so I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was,
The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Junpei spun around.
Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Ace?
You two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor, at the corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something? I have a little trouble and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment.
With that, he turned and walked back toward the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight and spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Huh? Hey, wait!
Clover,
Hey, wait!
Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
Junpei! What are you doing in there? Hurry up!
Ah!
Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off toward the communications office. Okay. Okay.
Okay, blank paper. We had to combine that with, like... Right, the ink and tiller. Where's that music box? Wait, do I still need to do this? Yeah. No power. Oh, is that it? Nope, that's part of that.
Morse code.
Beep, 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 beep.
Okay, what do we have? A music box somewhere. Oh, an electric lock. Where is that music box? There it is.
Whenever the music kind of has a delay, I'm always worried it's gonna crash. Well, you lied, Ace. It took longer than a moment. All ice. Alice. Did that mean Junpei couldn't hold back? He had to know what was in that file. Each page was covered with all the kind of Egyptian words.
This must be a key to the library on the bottom deck.
So it would seem.
The bottom deck. The library. Junpei remembered something he heard from Seven when they'd been in the chemical closet.
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge beneath the navel of the gigantic.
Did beneath the navel mean the bottom deck?
It's the wrong kind of navel.
Did forest of knowledge mean the library? If it did, then was Alice in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace was looking at him, curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts. There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him. About the Egyptian priestess. About Ice 9. About the woman who wouldn't melt, who had been recovered from the Titanic disaster. He told him about how she'd been called All Ice, which eventually turned to Alice. And how she'd been purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain.
And how Gordain had hid Alice somewhere on the ship. And you think that he hid her in a small room beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess so.
I see.
Ace stared off into the distance, his hand slowly and absently stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
CAS?
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
What do you mean, other things?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation? Cryogenic freezing. It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
It was... That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow.
Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that CAS thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and if CAS were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously...
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature.
That's nuts! Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
You're right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by who? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible. In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else, then, could have done so?
Junpei thought for a second.
No, nobody.
After Santa and Lotus had used the Earth Key, they turned back and met up with Junpei and June, who had just returned from E-Deck. The four of them then proceeded to return to the large hospital room to reunite with Ace, Seven, and Clover. When Junpei and his team had gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had been left in the large hospital room, but they would have been unable to open door 1. Perhaps when Junpei and June had taken the elevator to door 2, then... No, that would have been impossible. They had been gone only 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed the man in there, and run back in 5 minutes.
It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time?
Or just somebody random that's, moving around you guys that knows where you are.
A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered doors would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
You're saying killer was Alice?
It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is only one possible theory. ...
All ice. Alice. Was Alice indeed somewhere on the ship with them? Junpei had only one clue. The key card in his hand. It would, he hoped, grant him access to the Forest of Knowledge. But beyond that, what waited for him beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Whatever might be there, however, would have to wait. At the moment, there was nothing Junpei could do. He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. Okay.
I'm just saying, it's not also impossible that just somebody who doesn't have to worry about a bracelet is just, walking around outside of you guys, since you have a very restrictive and obviously controlled path and course of action to take.
Okay, so 0. All the letters index plus 9. So starting with Z, it's 35. E would be 14. See, M is 13. So N is 14. O is 15. Can you remember O is 15, please?
O is 15.
P is 16, Q is 17, R is 18. So 18 plus 9 is 27. And what was O?
15.
24. It's just that simple.
Yay! You did it! Took the stuff.
Let's get some context.
A note.
Well, if we're going to be here, let's save too. Would you like to quit? No. Got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this? This is a note.
A note?
Yeah. I found it in the pocket of the guy in the captain's cloak, with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
What the hell? Let me see it.
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
Hey, Junpei!
A little 70 there, but... You got this sort of, like, quiet, gravelly voice, and you're getting me to shout it. Hey. Hey. Now I'm getting fancy.
Okay. well,
Hey.
you do give kind of, you tend to give 7 kind of an accent like he's from Brooklyn or something.
That's true. Hey, Junpei, Clover. What are you two doing? Hurry up.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, alright? Come on, we gotta hurry.
Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L, a note. A note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered him. Her pocket had been bulging far more than it would have been from just a note.
She got the axe. She's gonna axe you.
Or
How many axes can you fit into your pockets?
maybe she found something else. Oh, sorry. Never mind. She has the bracelet, I'm thinking.
There you go.
There you go. I'm just saying, getting an axe wouldn't have been so bad. Okay. They reached the B deck at the same time.
Junpei! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened that much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments.
Okay.
This is like a repeat, I think.
What's up?
June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
We found it!
What did you find?
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay, let's go.
7 turned and jogged off down the stairs. The rest followed.
We finally made it!
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each of them felt. Sorry.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it. At least not yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. There was one thing he couldn't get off his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate between 3 and 5 people. There were 7 of them on their way to the door. That meant that even in the best case scenario, there would be 2 of them who would have to stay behind. 2 people. He didn't have any solutions to that problem yet, but he was desperately hoping one would present itself. Junpei looked over at the clock. The hands indicated that it was 4:30. They had 90 minutes before their time was up.
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Thought they were already running in that direction. Oh, whatever. Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie. Oh, I guess maybe he's standing and looking at the clock.
Or maybe he's just sort of pacing and thinking.
Okay. Let's go, June. So the mental image of that was too funny. June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed.
Wee.
As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to the E-deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the two elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you all I explained earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After I split off from you guys, the four of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate. After that,
They headed down another hallway. It took them toward the bow of the ship, and eventually to the number 6 that Junpei and June had found earlier. With 4, they'd been able to open the door and keep going. As usual, they faced a locked door, but they'd been forced to complete 2 different areas before they could unlock it. Once they were through that door, there was another hallway that went in the other direction towards the stern.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
that's right.
So in other words, you kind of did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
With that settled, Junpei looked around.
So, where's the number 9 door?
Over here. Follow me.
7 began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him. They had been walking for a while, June in silent step with Junpei, when she spoke.
You know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
That all seven of us are going to door 9. You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus? What's their digital route?
9. It's 9.
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes. Because Santa wouldn't let them. He said we can't leave June behind. That's why we went looking for you guys.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. Santa would be the one to stick up for you, I mean.
Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern.
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it and Santa objected to it first.
Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped. In front of them stood a door.
So, is this?
Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod.
No other place for us to go?
Nope. Just look around.
At the end of the hallway was a thick iron wall. To the left and right, other hallways led to the port and the starboard side of the ship, but they were both closed off by thick metal grates. It looked as though 7 was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
Alright. Let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. There it is. It appeared they had been telling the truth. The first thing Junpei saw when he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door it decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it. It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it. The red was bolted on the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant. Finally, they'd arrived. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. He was about to speak when...
Junpei, look behind you.
He turned around. Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw. A door and a 9. Ta-da! There was another one.
Hey! What the hell? What the hell's going on here?
His words came slowly and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner, the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door. He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
Why the hell? There are 2 doors.
It was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one?
Lotus was skeptical. I don't know about that. That seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just have to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero is going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room?
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere here. I searched it very well, and I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
That's right.
The exit is hidden, but it is there. Seek the exit. Seek the door that carries a 9.
Junpei began to mutter to himself.
So, if there are 2 number 9 doors, we split it up right.
That's not gonna work.
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her.
Look at this.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
So that gives you 7. Yeah.
You get it? The numbers on the top are all combinations with digital roots of 9. And the numbers on the bottom are people who don't fit it. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind. Right?
Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem. The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank. Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes into the room around him. As he did, he began to wonder, what was it? The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room. between them was a strip of rich red carpet. Carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the end of the carpet, an altar? It was a recessed space set into the wall between the two other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin. A coffin, a coffin. No, it couldn't possibly be. But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? Well, that was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. Why not? You have been in rooms with puzzles all the time. I'd be all over that shit, even if I didn't know the other endings. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay. I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
What? You guys didn't figure it out yet? Ugh. Fine, fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it. Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait. This means...
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. But if we hadn't been the hero back in the big even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying...
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
And shock everywhere. Sorry. Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot? Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered. I'm completely against this. I'd be goddamn if I'm going to have to owe you for getting out of here. The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I don't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you behind either. I don't like that idea. There's got to be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven.
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this.
Seven made some noises that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
Doesn't make any sense.
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corners of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
Oh, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone. I don't see how it matters. I said alone.
Ooh.
I said I don't want to leave Seven alone.
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you... What, you don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven.
I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal.
What the fuck?
No, those are my orders. What do you mean, orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you? You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice. What? 3, 2, 1...
Santa was so fast Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... He had June.
See? I told you.
His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled down the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more? The gun in his hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. What was he doing with a gun? Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions were roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion.
The gun's from the other room.
What room?
Well, the room's behind door 6. Should have known he was going to do this. Should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
Damn it!
A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded, and he began to move. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly and then forced June to do the same.
Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands on the red.
That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order.
Santa's eyes narrowed into slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
Right. Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
No sooner than the words out of Santa's mouth had his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
But why? Santa, why are you...
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about about the leaf word and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched, almost imperceptibly.
What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up. Just shut up, you stupid bitch. You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
Santa.
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously, then turned to face Ace and Lotus.
Alright, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. What's the matter? Your hearing starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. Jane's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do. He turned to Ace and Lotus.
Please. Go.
Huh?
But...
Junpei! What are you saying? If you stay here, you're gonna be stuck, Junpei! And so will Clover and Seven!
I know. You don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven?
Right! You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. But... No! You can't! Ace! Lotus! Don't do it! Don't worry about me! Please!
June was almost crying. Well, probably him too. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. Without a word, he laid a hand on each of their backs and gently pushed them forward. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step, and another. They turned around, and Junpei nodded. Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly toward the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
All right. Let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What, you think I'm fucking around here? Don't give a shit about this girl. The Red doesn't need a person, you know. All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again.
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head, and she winced.
Fine.
Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on.
Good job. Now, Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few.
All right, go!
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited till they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7, 8.
Later.
After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles of the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced her finger, and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his hands into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything, to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red read vacant. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door. He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, as she had escaped this horrible boat, that was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
Check the damn box. Junpei opened his mouth to respond when... Thank you! A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical. It was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh! Quiet!
Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet.
She also verbalized.
She put one finger on her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. Where? Where was it coming from?
Yeah.
Could it be?
Hey, I think it's coming from the coffin.
You're right.
Let's open it.
But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try.
Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find and pull with all of their strength. Clover helped. Sorry.
Damn it!
Man, won't even budge.
Because there's a lock on it, duh.
I didn't see that.
It's very obvious when you look at it. It's the first thing on the first side that faces you. There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it. See? For some reason, not right away the first time. I don't.
Not another one.
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put it in the right password or it won't open?
I think so.
No, the noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder. They had no idea who was in the coffin, but they wanted to, and they wanted out now. They wanted out. They had no idea that they were supposed to do. Without passcodes, it didn't seem like there was a lot they could do. They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
So there's some hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one.
Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Except the railing and the candles and the stairs and the pews and the Clover ran to the pews and 7 investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing. The sound still wouldn't stop. Was it a noise that belonged in that room? What was the passcode? What was Junpei supposed to do? How was he supposed to figure it out? He needed something. The world blinked.
Congratulations! You have achieved the coffin ending.
Ah!
Is what would normally happen at this point. But I've actually been keeping secret about one more prerequisite.
Ooh.
And with that, you won't get a to be continued sign here.
Oh, so that was one of the endings. Cool. Suddenly, there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. The truth had gone, the truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand. He had an epiphany!
What the hell was that? That voice.
Junpei was utterly and completely baffled.
Huh? What are you talking about?
What's up?
Seven and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them. If he told them he heard a voice, he'd laugh, or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was,
Oh, nothing.
he cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. There were a pair of small buttons protruding from either side of it. Junpei pressed the buttons on the bracelet. What was it? I can't remember the order. Left, right,
No.
left. No,
Other way.
other way, yeah. Nope. That's wrong. You should know that already. You should know everything. If you don't, then why did you bother to look at the bracelet? You already know that the darkness of the sinister hand is telling you to look at the bracelet on your left hand. That's why you looked at your bracelet, right? Truth is gone. So left. Left, right, left. That was it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8,
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2,
8
1.
numbers blinked on and off on the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time. Should I write that down?
Sure, but I think I might memorize it.
Or they might actually tell you. 1, 4, 3, 8.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Huh?
But
Hey, the hell are those numbers?
oh my gosh, are those?
Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. He knelt down in front of the keypad, running over the numbers in his head so he wouldn't forget.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
With trembling fingers, he punched them in. He did it for you, Zare. There you go. Yay. And in case you forgot, that's them again. That was all of them. He punched the E button. There was a moment of complete silence. Then there was a sound of a coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it. Yay!
Oh, is that you, Clover? I apologize for worrying you. Snake! Oh my, how did you...
Wait, 7?
Oh, 7?
Wow, 7?
Gotcha.
It was great.
Oh, that was 7.
Yep.
I could not have possibly imagined someone would say, oh my.
I know.
So I went...
I know,
forward
right? I know, right?
Try it again. Oh, I guess, because it'd go, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my. How did you.
Junpei? And 7? Is that you?
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone else there as well?
Just like Rip Von Winkle. Still, it was very much like Snake to simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask. Junpei and 7 shared a wry smile. Clover's eyes were filled with tears.
You're back!
With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms. Aww.
Gently now. My body's still a little weak.
You're back! You're back!
Clover looked like nothing so much as a lost child who had found her home. She cried and cried and cried. Her eyes were red and her nose was running, and she hiccuped and gasped as if she were about to begin hyperventilating.
You're back! You're really here!
Her voice was happy but almost desperate, as if she feared he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. Tear after tremendous tear rolled its way down her face. Her small arms strained as she clutched Snake's body as tightly as she could. Perhaps she had to convince herself he was real. Perhaps she was worried he would be gone the moment she let go. Perhaps she simply didn't know what else to do.
Oh, you're back!
Come now, what's gotten into you? You're acting as though I've returned from the grave.
If only you know what you're lying in.
Not as though you did!
Try that again.
What?
Not as though you did! You really... I really thought you were dead!
Huh?
You jerk! You idiot! Idiot! Idiot!
I take offense to that third one.
Clover broke into sobs so great she could no longer talk, and oh, my throat hurts. It was a touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time, and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. Junpei and Seven sat down in one of those pews, waiting for Clover to calm down before explaining to Snake what had transpired.
I see. I believe I understand things rather well now. Thank you. In the shower room, there is a dead body wearing my clothes. Because of that, you thought I was dead. Correct?
He had quickly and neatly summarized the events of several hours. Junpei nodded.
You also discovered a corpse in the captain's quarters, and Santa turned on you here in this room. Do I have it straight?
Seven had been rather surprised to learn of the dead body in the captain's quarters. With everything that had taken place, Junpei had simply forgotten to mention it to him.
Well then, I've got a pretty decent idea of what happened while I was indisposed, but it's still something of a mystery who did all this, and why. The corpse in the shower room that looked like me, and the corpse in the captain's quarters. Why were they killed in the way they were?
You don't know?
No. Why would I?
The guy in the shower room. You don't know who he is, so let's just call him Mr. X. Anyways, this Mr. X is wearing Snake's clothes. But you're wearing some kind of weird robes. Maybe someone took your clothes and put them on Mr. X. We need to figure out who that was.
I apologize, but I have no idea who might have done this to me. I only just now woke up. I was unconscious during all the events you just described to me. They must have undressed me and changed my clothes during that time.
When you were knocked out?
When were you?
When were you knocked out?
When we split up to look for the red. Where did they get you? Do you remember? It was a small room in one of the hallways on C deck.
What happened?
The same thing that happened to every one of us when we were abducted. A can releasing some sort of gas was thrown into the room. I believe the gas is some sort of incapacitating agent.
Then that means it was...
0.
Looks that way, huh?
There's nothing else I have to tell you. When I woke up, I was in this coffin.
Junpei crossed his arms in thought. Why had Zero made Mr. X wear Snake's clothes? How had the results of that trick benefited Zero? It was a mystery. Junpei couldn't make sense of it. He also didn't have a satisfactory explanation for how he'd discerned the key code for the coffin. It just didn't make sense. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. What did that mean? Did it mean anything? And why had Junpei feel compelled to push the buttons on the bracelet after hearing them? Seven had asked him about it while they waited for Clover to finish crying. He had no answer for him then, and he still didn't. All he could say was that it seemed to have been a subconscious reaction. His fingers had simply moved of their own accord. It was the only explanation that made any sort of sense, and it made almost no sense. Junpei had no idea what any of it meant. His mind was a maelstrom of mysteries, clues, theories, and more mysteries. He could barely think. And, of course, Snake and Clover had been subjects of a similar experiment 9 years ago.
The ability to access morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things.
You got it.
The
First is epiphany, and the other is danger. And someone did actually die. A girl. Her name was, There had been another experiment conducted on the same ship 9 years ago. A girl had died during it. Morphogenetic field theory. The 2 murders. Switching clothes. The nonary game. And whatever strange thing was happening to Junpei himself. The maelstrom in his head spat out words and ideas that disappeared back into it almost as soon as he grasped them. As he struggled through them, Junpei began to realize something. There was something that tied all of them together. Zero. He was the ringleader, the person who had trapped 9 people on a sinking ship. Zero knew everything. If they could uncover Zero's identity, all of their questions would be answered. Who was Zero? Junpei had the beginning of a theory, if he could only test it. Or perhaps...
At any rate, we'll have plenty of time to decipher the details later. For now, it is of utmost importance that we escape. Junpei, it was 4:30 the last time you checked the clock, yes? That means we have less than an hour. We must hurry.
Hey, how are we gonna get out of here?
Isn't that obvious? Through the other number 9 door.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, you're right! The snake, we can open the door!
Don't tell me you haven't figured that out.
As they sniped back and forth, Junpei glanced at Snake's left hand. He was wearing a bracelet with a 2 on it.
Come on, you gotta tell me these things!
I, assumed you'd figured it out.
Gah, forget it! Let's just get going!
Poor Seven. Seven stomped off toward the smaller number 9 door. Clover, Snake, and Junpei followed. Seven quickly laid his hand on the red, and an asterisk appeared on the screen. Junpei and the others followed suit and laid their hands on the scanner panel. Soon, there were 4 asterisks on the screen. Seven glanced at them and laid his hand on the lever of the red.
Alright, you guys ready to go?
Yes!
Yep.
Junpei paused for a moment.
Oh, maybe he was a little less annoyed by that. Not yet.
Huh?
Before we go in, I'd like to check something. You want to check something? Yeah, but before I do, Seven, could you pull the lever? I want to make sure we can verify with just the 4 of us.
What do you mean? We don't need...
Just do it, alright? But if the door opens, don't go in yet, okay? Please. This is really important. I really need to check this, okay? Work with me here.
Junpei looked directly into Seven's eyes. The older man looked back for a moment, then nodded.
Work with me here.
Heck with me.
Fine.
There you go. Seven pulled down the lever and the door 9 creaked open. Then they waited. 6, 7, 8. After 9 seconds, the door closed.
Alright, that means the 4 of us can go into door 9.
So? We knew that already. It's obvious.
Obvious. Yeah, you're right. It is. Now, what happens if we add Zero's bracelet?
What?
Zero's bracelet? Why don't you take it out, Clover?
For a moment, Clover looked surprised, but she recovered quickly and stuck her tongue out at Junpei.
You did know I had it. I picked it up because I thought it might be useful sometime.
She reached into one of the pockets of her voluminous jacket and produced a bracelet.
Voluminous.
Jubei took it from her and turned to Seven.
Sorry.
This was the left hand of the corpse. Fuck.
What happened to my voice?
I'm taking over. Suddenly Junpei realized he was the narrator.
This was in the left hand of the corpse in the captain's quarters. If you look at it, you can see it's got a 0 on the face. Just to make this a little easier to talk about, I'm going to call the guy we found dead in the captain's quarters Cap. Cap was really 0. I should be able to open door 9 with just me, Clover, and his bracelet. But most importantly, if you were Cap, and this was your game, would you really put one of these bracelets on yourself? Anyway, let's just give it a shot. Clover, give me your hand.
Okay.
After he and Clover scanned their bracelets, he waved Caps over the scanner panel. Then he pulled the lever. However, the door didn't open. The red display read error.
I knew it. Now, what does this tell us?
Maybe the bracelet has to be on your wrist in order for it to work?
No, that's impossible. You see the panel showed a third Did you see how the panel showed a third asterisk when I scanned Cap's bracelet? Whether or not it's on your wrist doesn't matter. All you have to do is put the bracelet near the panel for it to register.
Seven waved his bracelet in front of the scanner panel. Sure enough, single asterisk appeared on the red.
Huh. Looks like you're right.
See? So, what does this mean? There's only one possibility. That bracelet isn't the number 0. Is that what you're saying? That's right!
Then, what number is it?
Let's find out.
Junpei, okay.
Okay, so we gotta get 9. And
What did we figure out? It was like 4, wasn't it?
not 4.
No, it was I forgot now. 6. No. I forgot. I'm sorry.
6.
Okay, it was 6.
Do.
Okay.
If this combination opened the door, then Cap's bracelet was number 6. Haha!
Hey! It opened. Door opened.
What? Why? What does that mean?
Both Seven and Clover seemed rather shaken. As they turned to look at Junpei for answers, the door closed. The door slid heavily shut. Junpei raised an eyebrow.
Isn't it obvious? Cap's bracelet is number 6.
But doesn't it say 0?
This isn't a 0. The symbol on here isn't a number 0. It's a letter O.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, wait a minute. I don't get it. I mean, if we figured out the captain's bracelet is 6, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean there are 2 people with 6s?
Before Junpei could answer, Snake spoke up.
There is most likely only one person with a 6.
But I don't get it. What about June?
Well, this is only an educated guess, but I think June's number was never 6 to begin with.
Ah.
Her bracelet was flipped. In other words, June's real number is...
9?
That seems the most likely.
Then all this numbered door stuff was just a load of crap?
Why would you say that?
Because if June is 9, then the numbers wouldn't match up.
Clover grabbed Junpei's notebook and began to write furiously in it. Junpei leaned over to look at it.
You know, it's yours now.
List of all the numbered doors June's gone through. Clover read each row out loud so that Snake could follow along.
Alright, I made a list of all the numbered doors that June has gone through so far. I wrote down each door she went into and with who. And I wrote what all the numbers were. So if you switch 9 in wherever there's a 6, the numbers don't work. If the digital root is 7, then you can't open door 4. If the digital root is 2, then you can't open door 8.
Clover, do you notice anything interesting on that list?
What do you mean?
You're talking about 3, right?
3?
Santa's always in the room with her. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly.
What about it?
That's quite simple, really. You told me that the first time you came to this room, Santa was the first to refuse to leave June behind. Now, doesn't that beg the question, why? Why would Santa do such a thing? The answer is easy. Because Santa can't open door 9 with only 7 in Lotus. Of course, there's only a reason for that. His number isn't actually 3.
Ooh.
Santa's real number. 7, would you be so kind as to modify my sister's equations?
Yeah, sure.
7 took the pen from the confused Clover and began to adjust her calculations.
This is what you were getting at, right, Snake?
He read out the changes he made. When he finished, he looked at Santa.
Snake.
Snake smiled.
Oh, I'm having an out-of-body experience here. Hey, get me off this crazy thing!
It's all an experiment. Keep calm.
Thank you. That is exactly right, 7. Santa's true number wasn't 3. It was 0.
Aha! I called it! Yay! No way! Santa is 0?
And June was 9, not 6. On the contrary, Santa was 0, not 3. Plus 3 and minus 3. They cancel one another out. Nothing appears out of order.
Then that means that even though he set the whole damn thing up, Santa was still playing by the rules of the Nonary game this whole time.
Precisely.
So you're saying that Santa planned this whole thing?
I'm not sure if he acted alone or not, but I think it is safe to conclude that he is 0. If my hypothesis is correct.
Clover bit her lip. She seemed to be having some difficulty believing her brother's explanation. Junpei remained silent in thought. Snake's hypothesis didn't satisfy him. June's bracelet was flipped. Even if that were possible, then there would have been 2 number 9 bracelets. And if that were the case...
Alright, that's enough talking. Let's go. It's high time we went through that door.
Door 9 opened. They leapt through. The dead was directly in front of them as they came through the door. Quickly, they scanned their bracelets. And the detonator stopped.
Phew.
After pausing for a moment to catch their collective breath, Junpei and his companions headed down the long hallway in front of them. At the end was a set of stairs leading down into the ship. It looked as though they led all the way to the bottom deck. They looked down. It didn't seem to be flooded. After deciding it was safe, they headed down the stairs. Before long, Junpei and his companions found themselves on the bottom deck. They turned to the left, into another hallway, at the end of which they found another door. Ah, and of course there was a symbol engraved over the keyhole. It looked like some sort of harpoon one could use to hunt fish, the kind with 3 prongs. Snake traced the shape of it with his fingers.
This is the Neptune symbol. There must be a key around here somewhere.
Neptune. All Junpei had was the Uranus keycard. Not the same planet, and not even the same sort of key. Clearly it wasn't going to open this door. After examining the door for a few more minutes, they gave up and headed back the way they'd come. With a little more searching, they found a metal door. Aha! To the side of it was a card reader.
Man, it's a good thing people just keep giving me all these keys.
A symbol was engraved into the card reader. It matched the Uranus symbol on the key card Junpei was carrying.
This is the place.
He muttered to himself and slid the card through the rear. It beeped once, and the light on it turned green. With a heavy metal groan, the door creaked open.
Chugga chugga wugga.
Junpei, Clover, Snake, and Seven looked at one another, nodded, and stepped through. The room they found themselves in was full of books. Ooh. It looked remarkably like a library. Not the sort of library where large numbers of people came to read books, more the sort of library that was simply a place to store books. He felt a little overwhelmed by the sheer number of books, but Junpei did his best to speak with authority.
Alright, if we want to get through that door out there, we need the Neptune key. I say we split up and look for it.
Okay.
Very well.
Sure thing.
Good. Let's get started then. We don't have a lot of time. Hurry!
Da-da.
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge. As he began his search, for reasons he didn't fully understand, Junpei felt those particular words floated through his mind.
Da-da. Seek a way out. Alright.
So many books.
Belle would love this place.
This book is called Mind Swap.
You mean you could, change bodies with someone? Well, I guess I wouldn't mind switching bodies with my brother, or Junpei too much. But I'd rather die than let Seven switch with me.
What the hell? They don't even want to swap bodies with a little brat like...
Hey! Were you just imagining it? You were!
Shut up!
Yeah, well, he wasn't the only one. Teletemporation and telepathy. What the hell is this one about?
Well, I know what telepathy is, but I've never heard of teletemporation.
It refers to having the ability to travel through time.
Ah! I thought of that. I was just about to say that.
Kitab al-Azif. Yeah, they've got some weird stuff here. I can't even pronounce this one.
Who's that? Some famous guy?
It's not a person's name. It's the name of a fictional book created by Abdul al-Hazred. I find that more difficult than the last one. It's said to be one of the sources used in the creation of the legendary Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Oh, I thought that name sounded familiar. Oh, I love you, H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, so these are all occult books and stuff? This one says The Golden Rabbit and the Moon on it. Does that mean it's about a rabbit that lives on the moon? Rabbits are really cute. But what's the moon stuff about?
It's talking about the Judas tree that is said to grow on the moon, according to Chinese legend.
Mm-hmm.
Paleontology.
Oh, thank you. Paleontechnology. It's about fossils, right? God. Ammonites are
pretty nasty looking.
I think Ammonite's cute.
They're,
Crazy looks.
they're hard to catch.
Why did mankind lose their tails? Junpei, did you know what this one's about?
Why are you asking me? I didn't even know we had tails to lose. Maybe you should ask a human with a tail. Mankind's ancestors most likely lost their tails as they were no longer useful, and the nutrients required to grow them were better put to use elsewhere. At least, that's what I read. I was rather young. I may have remembered it incorrectly.
Huh? Why the hell would a kid be reading a book like that?
Micrographia, huh? Ah, yes. Robert Hooke's famous work. First published in 1665. He built a microscope and examined insects, inorganic substances, and other things too. Other things too small to be seen in detail by human eyes. He then drew pictures of many of the things he'd examined, and published them in a book. I'd hazard a guess this shelf is concerned with natural sciences. Oh, okay. Maybe I don't need to check all these books. Maybe I just need to know the gist of it.
Energy theory, huh? I don't even understand the damn title. Looks like this shelf's all science and technology.
Okay. Natural
Oh, hello.
science, fiction. Ooh.
What's the deal with these titles?
They're all just gibberish.
No, it spells open on the first one if you arrange them right.
Hey, what if we switch one of them around?
Switch them around?
Yeah. If we move them around, maybe they'll spell something.
Oh, I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. Heck, it's worth a shot.
Move the O over there.
This is how you move
There
books.
go. Yeah. There we go. Open here, find bulb.
How about this?
This!
Looks like putting those books in the right order. Open this thing right up. Heh. That was a piece of cake.
Hooray! You did it, Junpei!
I guess that turned out well enough.
So the letters from the title spelled out open here, find bulb.
Kinda on the nose.
Powerful light bulb. Doo-doo-doo. Why does that suddenly appear? Did it fall out of something or just it's in your
It's-
hand?
When we arrange them this way, the thing slid open.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Nah.
A couple of books on this shelf. Oh, thanks for... Oh, there's something here. There's a note on the table.
Lights to the books. What does that mean?
Interesting. Well, intelligence often hides itself in darkness. Have you thought about the pages of a book? Each page only sees, what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of light before the reader is on to the next? They spend the rest of their lives locked in darkness. Rather like myself.
That's horrible.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. Not at all. I live in the darkness, yes. But that has gifted me with the ability to catch the truth others might miss. I can hear the voices hidden in the darkness, you might say.
Ooh.
Well, energy theory, development of nanotechnology materials, the interactions between shortwave energy and matter. What else we got?
Just listening to you read those titles is giving me a headache.
Can't say fancy technology stuff and I get Can't say fancy technology stuff and I get along real well. Keep on talking about that stuff and you're gonna put me to sleep.
The black hole hypothesis, gamma ray astrophysics. I guess this bookshelf has an astronomy theme. A kid's book? Here? Looks like it's a children's story about Native Americans.
What? Don't you think a random book like this is kind of suspicious? Maybe you gotta hold on to it.
Oh, is it 10 Little Indians? I can't read that, so... is there
Wow,
anything
yeah,
on the back?
that's tiny.
This one has some Native Americans on the cover. Hey Junpei, take a look at this one.
Native Americans, huh? He's got some... Whoa!
It's a pop-up book.
What's that? This one of them pop-up books? LRK?
That doesn't mean anything. Does it?
Well, you could make them curl. Like Curl or Carl.
Maybe you gotta shine a light on them.
What's Hellenism?
I think it's something like a fusion of Greek and Oriental culture.
Look, this one says cultural heritage of Rome.
Bet that's gotta be some serious inheritance tax.
Oh, look, Seven, it's a book that's perfect for you. It's called Correlation of Muscle, Bone, Density, and Bone Strength.
You're just saying that because it says muscle.
This one. It looks just like that picture book from earlier. The one with the pop-ups.
Think they're part of a series or something? You have the same binding.
Da-da.
Oh
Baseball.
no, I may have missed some.
There's a baseball on this one. Come on, Junpei, let's see what's in it.
I'm going out on a limb here and say it's probably baseball stuff. Whoa!
Head.
Okay, so that's all that.
Okay.
So yeah, I checked all those. And then equilibrium theory.
Human anatomy.
Regeneration of internal organs.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
maybe it's in the center.
I'm sorry. With all of these books in less than an hour, there's no way they would have been done in time.
We're just skimming.
The stairs that go down.
There's a go to the bottom. Sorry. Floor on the other side of that junction.
Having been in a library a lot this past year, skimming books of this magnitude it still takes ridiculously long.
The Pythagorean theorem. This is a famous one.
Especially when they're taking the time to at least read the titles.
Sounds like there are a number of math books in this section. Algebraic number theory. Math, huh?
There's another one like that over here.
You mean something like primary number theory, or analytical number theory, or geometry?
Oh my gosh, how did you know? Nobody said anything about those.
Well, number theory is usually split into 4 chief disciplines. If there was a book named Algebraic Number Theory, I took a wild guess that the other 3 would be there as well. Looks like I was right. This one's Goldbach's conjecture. Conjecture.
Conjecture? What's it about? Like magic or psychic stuff or something? Right. I bet it's about jewelry, isn't it?
It may have an odd title, but it's actually a very respectable mathematics book. It deals with one of the unsolved problems of additive number theory.
Sorry I said anything. Look, let's not get into this right now, okay?
This whole wall math?
It says Renheim hypothesis.
Riemann.
Riemann hypothesis. What is there to hypothesis about with a Riemann? Isn't it?
What to hypothesize about with a Riemann?
It's pretty straightforward.
Why are you happy about that? Heavens, no. There are many factors. Length, girth, lubrication, or lack thereof. It's an exciting and rapidly growing field.
What?
What? Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, good, you get it. What's this? Origin of Japanese folklore? Looks like there are a bunch of books about Japanese culture here. Mostly ones about folklore, though. Well, folklore can cover a wide range of subjects. History, urban life, religious trends, environmental changes, oral traditions. Folklore can cover all these things if you know where to look.
This looks pretty deep.
Modern Japanese literature, huh? Let's see what we've got here. How many books here? I don't know what this one's... Whoa. What's this? Alarm?
Oh? Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
What?
Hey, what's the deal with this sappy stuff?
What?
She leaned up against us.
Oh.
Small enclosure with 9 sides. There are 3 of these things that look kind of like music stands.
Hey, Junpei, do you think maybe you're supposed to put these pop-up books on the stands? Then you can open them up.
Oh yeah. Do that, and they make a shadow on the bottom there.
True, but there are 3 stands, right? We don't have enough picture books. In other words, we need 3 picture books.
You're missing one.
Books here in all sorts of languages. There's something suspicious about the shelf on the left.
This bookshelf is sort of a glass inlay. It's pretty big, but there's only 6 books on it. Seems kinda weird.
Hey, looks like there's something on the bottom. I can't really see it though. The glass is all foggy.
Is there a knock on it? No.
Okay, we need another picture book. Oh, I already saw that. No, I had to check these. That's right. I want the arrow. Come on. This book is called The Golden Rabbit on the Moon.
This one says transition of extinct species.
We need to hurry it up, or we're going to end up in the pages of a book like that. Shelf has a bunch of books all about natural sciences, stuff like micrographia. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Why did mankind lose their tails? Introduction to geology, huh? Thinking about the Earth, even when you're on the ocean. Kinda romantic in a way, I guess. Creatures of the South Seas, huh? What if this one's got pictures of colorful fish and stuff?
Theories of the Cambrian explosion. Did a bomb go off somewhere near somewhere called Cambria?
Wrong kind of explosion. Roughly 500 million years ago, during what is known as the Cambrian period. Research suggests that the variety of living organisms increased by an order of magnitude. Why that happened is, however, still something of a mystery. There are a number of theories. This book is most likely a collection of them. Mother Nature.
That's some sort of book about hippie chicks?
Probably not. Except perhaps tangentially. It's most likely about environmental protection.
I was just trying to make a joke.
Dude, hippie chicks? Really?
The theory of evolution. Heck, even I know this one. That's that Darwin guy, right?
Well, yes and no. Charles Darwin wrote a book called On the Origin of the Species. In it, he put forth the theory of evolution. Yeah, I remember that part. He called it natural selection. Exactly. The book is just called Dissection. Bookshelf must all be medical books. From what I can tell, it sounds as though these books have been organized by genre. This library must be massive. I'm rather impressed by how well organized it is. Ancient gladiators. What's this book doing here? Maybe they were researching human physical limits across history.
Look, this one's called Recreation of Lost Human Functions. I think they're talking about if you, lose part of your body, you could grow it back?
I don't think so. Maybe they're talking about reconstructing abilities that humankind once possessed. In other words, they may be talking about cultivating a sixth sense. Dissection Atlas, huh? The whole shelf is full of medical books. Functions of the human brain. Huh. I guess there's a book about the nervous system. I'd love to ask you to read it to me, but I don't think we have the time.
I'm kind of curious about it too. There's gotta be a reason why people connect with each other, you know?
You suppose of monkey behavior, huh? I'd imagine that's a book describing praxeology studies on monkeys. Monkeys are very similar to humans evolutionarily, so I imagine the research was fruitful. Oh, they're suspicious books. That is in and of itself suspicious. This book's called Hellenism.
History of the medieval period. Maybe it's about Sir Lancelot.
Isn't he just a story? I don't think you're gonna find a guy who didn't really exist in a history book. A history of Buddhism. This book's called Cultural Heritage of Rome.
Permian creatures? Seems a little fancy for some kind of prehistoric creature. Not to mention most of them were likely reptiles and amphibians. Without hair, I can't imagine they had much need of perms.
It's got nothing to do with this!
Can't tell if he's joking or not anymore.
Hey, look at this! Book's called Greek Mythology.
Damn, that thing's huge. Can't imagine anyone's actually read the whole thing. Pretty sure it just put me to sleep.
This one's called History of the Western World. Well, I'd assume it's about European history. Yeah. Just gonna leave it at that, Snake. It seemed like you...
Huh? Oriental history? Maybe this one's about China's 4,000 years of history, or something.
Hey, Chinese history and Oriental history aren't the same thing.
What was with Snake's reaction? Okay.
Oh, that was the one we were just at. This should be loop. What shells are we missing? Owen, huh? Owen isn't enough to go on. Perhaps it's about the English Revolutionary? Dadkind. What the hell is this? Wasn't that a German mathematician? Maybe it's a compilation of his work. Leibniz?
This book is in German. It looks like it's a complete works of something.
I've never heard of it. Well, if Snake doesn't know what it is, I don't think we'll ever know.
Sheldrake.
Sheldrake. Isn't Sheldrake...
Okay.
That's a weird book, Junpei. Indian mathematics. That's funny.
Why's that funny? This is a book in Japanese culture.
Hey, there's another one.
Finally!
Yay.
There's another one of those picture books here. Something about these things feels kind of nice, you know? Bring back good memories.
I guess even people like Seven were kids once.
No shit, you little brat.
Hey guys, cool it. Alright, I think I'm gonna take this picture book with me. No magic wand on it. Okay.
It looks like a mallet to me.
So, what's inside? Well, aren't you going to open it? Are you sure it's just gonna have pages inside of Smite?
Why are you so shocked? This is the third time. You know that's gonna happen.
Because you could get these books in any order, probably. Though, going by what this game's capable of, I'm kind of shocked that they wouldn't have accounted for that.
Hey, didn't we find some kind of really powerful light bulb earlier? Why don't you put it into one of those lights?
Yeah. Well, it's gonna get a lot brighter, but...
But if there are 3 lights, that means 3 light bulbs. There won't be much point unless we can replace all 3 bulbs. We need 3 light bulbs, huh? Okay, how about we try putting these picture books on the stands? Then...
This is a little weird.
You can sort of see the letters. It's too dark in here to really tell, though.
that probably means our light isn't bright enough.
Need more bulbs. Or a way to reflect the one.
Agriculture and historical organizations and folklore. Well, we're just gonna leave it at that. I wonder if those are gonna ask us to look at shelves with certain themes to them. Please.
We want more. We need more.
Oh, wait. We have more.
Good.
No, wait, this is the same
Oh,
shelf.
crap.
Okay,
The light looks like a brand new one. It's really big, so it'd make a lot of light.
thanks, Clover.
It's really big. Maybe there isn't a way to find multiple, but maybe you have to, like, use the one. Maybe.
Oh, hello. Oh, what the hell is this? I think they just gave us the answer. So might as well give it a shot.
Oh.
Wait, where are you going? Five. I like that puzzle.
You did it, Junpei. It was really hard, but you did it.
Say that again. I don't know why, but I really feel particularly happy about being praised for that. Whatever. At least the lock's open now. Let's see if we can get it open, alright? Oh, just the one. All 6 books seem to be pointing at the cylinder number lock.
Anything else about them? No? Okay.
Well, this iron plate's bolted to it. No, there's nothing much to do with this. There's no other obviously suspicious places to check. Oh, okay, this.
Neptune symbol, yeah.
Hurry up. We need to find the key with the mark of Neptune.
Cold.
Okay!
Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little cold in here.
This sounds like a job for the best brother and sister team in the world.
Man, it's like Seven and I don't even exist. And they did nothing. Whoops. Right. Don't click on the top screen. And that didn't help.
Arr.
There's 2 stairs. Oh, there's this.
It's a coat rack, like a place where you hang coats and hats and stuff. Well, this one's not too big, so maybe it's just hats.
Damn it. Lights to the
Lights
books.
to the books.
I mean, it's obvious what we're doing. I just need that other light.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
I mean, I feel like there's something to do with these. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure if it's this puzzle or whatever we're going to get out of that other one. And it's not like we can interact with these in any meaningful way. There's 7 of these books over here and 8 of the ones over here.
I guess the underside of the bridge isn't selectable.
Bookshelf downstairs.
Don't shove! I'm not kidding, don't push me!
What the heck, man? I wasn't gonna, but now that you bring it up.
Oops. Oh, I missed a shelf. Oh, yeah, robotics assembly line techniques. Huh.
What's that? Some sort of comic book? Geez, I guess boys really like that stuff, huh?
No, you're thinking of a different sort of robot. This book is talking about automated machinery that's used to build things like cars. What's that one called? It says Foundations of DNA and Genetic Engineering. An overview of photochemistry.
I think whoever set this up wants us to see the cover, not the spine. Let's look at it, okay?
Huh. Looks like there's a whole lot of space behind these books. Like a bulb!
Yay!
Look!
Something
Ta-da!
hidden behind the books.
Yay!
Oh, God, that took forever.
I know. Oh, that was frustrating.
We should all be dead.
Yep.
Then again, last puzzle room in the game. Right, so there are 3 lights in here. You gonna change these bulbs? Yeah, they should. Sheldrake 5.
Awesome! It worked!
Way to go, Junpei! Good job, buddy!
There's something projecting on the bottom.
These letters, they seem familiar.
Shield Rake 5.
Sheldrake.
Sheldrake.
It says Sheldrake on the spine of this book, with the volume number written on the lower part of the spine.
5. Grab it.
Okay.
You have to, like...
Oh, did I have to examine the text, or did I not? I didn't, okay.
Okay. Sheldrake 5.
Sheldrake.
Jubei read the bottom text out loud.
I think I saw the rest of this collection somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around here.
Let's go take a look.
Okay.
Seven and Clover walked off, leaving Junpei and Snake behind.
Have you heard of him? Sheldrake, I mean.
Junpei grinned.
Yeah. Lois told me about him.
There's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He had a rather interesting theory. The theory of morphogenetic fields, which relies on the theory of morphogenetic resonance. Morphic resonance, sorry.
Really? From Lotus, huh? Well, Clover also said something to me about that stuff. She did? Yeah, what was it?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. First is epiphany, the other is danger.
That girl. I told her not to tell anyone. You did? Why?
Junpei's eyes narrowed.
Look, man, I didn't push it because we're in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay? Tell you what? Don't give me that. About the experiment.
Snake's shoulders slumped and he shook his head slowly. He'd finally given up.
Very well. Fine. I'll tell you everything. But not here. Let's move to the top floor.
Junpei nodded. With that, they climbed the stairs to the top floor.
Suspicious coat rack.
Snake was silent for a moment after they arrived. Then he finally crossed his arms and spoke.
I suppose I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet, and why I made sure Clover did as well. To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. I had little choice. He didn't walk up and tell me, of course. He gave me a message engraved on a card.
Snake reached into his sleeve and pulled out a small, stiff piece of paper.
Same one. Looked a great deal like the one he'd shown everyone in the central staircase.
So you had 2 cards.
That's a lot of... yeah.
No, only 1. Huh? What do you mean? I thought that card just had some rules on the nonary game on it. Yes, it did. And those were the rules I read to you. However, they were not the only thing on the card. There was something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say there was something I couldn't read. And that was... Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell, and I activate your sister's detonator. Oh. Well,
Snake nodded.
Well, what about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too? I don't believe she did. But doesn't it strike you as strange that Zero would shut my mouth, but not hers? Yeah, it does seem a bit weird. To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl. What's wrong with her telling me? I heard some stuff out with the thing she told me. I mean, it looks like the whole activate her detonator thing was just a bluff. Just prancing around downstairs, happy as a clam now that you're back.
Snake glanced down at Clover and Seven examining one of the bookshelves.
That's very true. I've decided I can trust you. I've decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa's Zero is very high. I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment. And at any rate, even if he were, I very much doubt he would kill us. Why not? Clover told me about the 4-leaf clover, about the words. If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it. He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was.
Snake paused and cocked his head as though he thought he was listening to something very far away. His face looked dark, as though something was weighing on him.
Hey, Snake.
Junpei wasn't quite sure what to say. Snake turned and looked at him.
Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment? Yeah. How much do you know?
Junpei relayed to Snake everything Clover had told him. The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior that had dealt with it. Now the experiment had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada, how they played the nonary game. He told him everything. Finally, he told him how a girl had died during the experiment.
Oh. She told you all that, did she?
Snake looked down, his face was tight. A slight tremor shook his body, and he tried to hide it. He was putting on a good front, but even Junpei could tell he was holding back something deep and powerful. He made as if to brush something from his face and looked up at Junpei.
At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine is who did this and why. Right? Yes. Can you tell me what happened?
Snake nodded, and nodded slowly.
The people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceutical. There were 4 of them running the show. Gentaro Hongo, Nagisa Nijisaki, Teruaki Kubota, Kagechika Musashi-do. Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. Nijisaki was his right-hand man, and did the lion's share of the planning. Kubota led the company's research and development division. Musashi-do was their majority stockholder. It was these 4 people who planned the initial experiment. Let me simplify it for you. Hongo designed it, Nijisaki put it all together, Kubota developed the technology required, and Musashi-do provided the cash. So it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota, Musashi-do.
Junpei couldn't shake the sense that he had heard those 4 names somewhere before.
Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale. To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research. All in all, they gathered 10 people or so. Those 10 completed their team, and they were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonary Project. The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field. Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change? Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation? Experiments with humans produced the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more people there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before. Why? How? The answer is that the shape of the answer has been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields. But that's just a theory. Can't you bring yourself to believe it? Not really. Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it. Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murderer. They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial. So what matters here is that Hongo believed in the morphogenetic field.
Snake nodded.
But I still don't get it. You said they wanted to figure out how to control people, right? That's what you were saying? Yes. So how are they going to do that with a morphogenetic field? I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people have solved a certain problem. The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up. Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were to do a handstand right now. Tomorrow, the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstanding. Mankind's thought process and actions are all part of a resonant event. All the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory. Do you follow so far? Yeah. But let's say, hypothetically, that there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people. What would happen? If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do? Come on, there's no way. I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand. What if there's someone who could grab the resonant event he created by doing that, and use it to make other people do handstands? What would happen then? A person who has the power to write to the field and someone who can read from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver. What would the world be like if there were people with abilities like these?
Junpei thought about it for a moment.
So, the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver. And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish. That's what you're saying, right? Yes. Close enough, at least. Come on, that's just crazy. Well, if you want to prove that, then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought. That was why they decided to do their experiment. That was how the Nonary project began.
Snake suddenly looked very serious.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfield experiment?
Junpei nodded.
Yeah, that was the experiment in telepathy, right? Put a pair of subjects in separate rooms. Then they'd show one of them a picture and ask the other one what they saw. Interesting. I'm impressed. Yes, that is exactly correct. So, why bring up the Gansfeld experiment? It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceutical. Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret. Some of them, he found, had potential. He began to gather children that showed promise, children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped.
His face barely moved as he spoke. There were 9 pairs of siblings taken, for 18 children total. For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had 1 transmitter and 1 receiver. They were split perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children who were put in group
Q.
Thank you, were the ones who excelled at transmitting. They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as the Building Q in Nevada Desert. Children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A. Members of Group A were placed on the former hospital ship, the Gigantic. From the experiment he had conducted so far, Hongo had learned the following. There were two things that can increase one's resonance in the fields. First was epiphany. The other is danger. Have you ever been faced with an especially difficult problem and thought about it very long and very hard until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind? It may seem obvious to say so, but that was what was meant by epiphany. The information obtained through that epiphany can be easily transmitted through the fields where it can be easily interpreted. Adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access. Therefore, Hongo set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each puzzle before they could move to the next room. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include a danger. More specifically, he had detonated a bomb in the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the nonary game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life or death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the fields. The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior and the puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. Hongo explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you solve them, transmit that information to the children in Group A. If you succeed, they'll be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, the Gigantic will sink, and your brothers and sisters will drown. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely? It was because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule. All of the equipment, the instruments, everything, all of it identical. NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts were facing by putting themselves in the same situation. They attempted to solve the problems they knew the astronauts were experiencing. Once they had found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule. That was how they were able to return to safety. It was the same with the Gigantic and Building Q. Children found from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found and transmit what they learned through the fields. Children in Group A, however, had to access the field to learn how they might advance to the next stage.
That is the simplest explanation I can manage.
Snake sounded defeated. His half-hearted attempt at derision served only to show how much the story had affected him. Just as Junpei was about to speak.
Hey, Junpei! Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around on these bony asses? Get down here already!
Seven's voice echoed up from below. Snake took a deep breath and blinked rapidly as if just waking up from a long nap.
He's right. Let's go, shall we? We don't have much time. We need to get out of here, and soon.
Snake headed for the stairs, but Junpei put out an arm to stop him.
Hold it. There's one more thing I want to ask you. Are you sure there were 18 kids? Why? Well, I thought it was only 16. Oh, yes, that was what they said on the news, wasn't it? Yes, I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's experiment. After all, you couldn't exactly play a nonary game with any less, could you? Yeah, but... Are you saying that the news got it wrong? Yes, I am. There are 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. They were brother and sister, like Clover and I. The brother's name was Aoi. The sister's name was... Her name was...
Snake couldn't seem to bring himself to continue. It looked as if what he was about to say brought him great pain.
Her name was Akane. That was the girl who died.
Junpei felt as if he had been punched in the stomach. His vision went blurry and his head felt light. He couldn't think straight. Everything was blank. Had Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago? If she had, then who was June? No, that was impossible. It couldn't be true. Akane wasn't an uncommon name. If Snake had known her last name, then wouldn't that have been a different matter entirely? So they shared a name. There were many other people who did as well. That meant nothing. It was a different person. Of course it was a different person. It had to be. Jimmy shook his head hard and pulled himself back to reality.
Is something wrong, Junpei? Your breathing sounds strange.
And Snake had noticed. Jimmy cleared his throat and tried to act calm.
No, it's nothing. I'm fine. Let's get back down there, all right?
Snake raised an eyebrow but said nothing. He headed down the stairs, Junpei bringing up the rear. He couldn't bring himself to ask. He told himself he knew the answer already, but he couldn't bring himself to ask what the last girl's name had been. With every step he took, the cold, hard sound of feet against the metal dug at his heart.
Alright, we got the last thing. Let's see. Right.
What do you want us to see?
Oh, sorry. The snake. Yeah. We want to see the buck. Buck. Get the buck.
Sheldray, this is it! This is what the shadow picture was pointing to.
The thing we were looking at earlier for some reason wouldn't acknowledge until the story happened. But it didn't say 5 at the end of the shadow picture.
Yes, I think we need to find the 5th volume. Oh, would you look at that? There's a big red button behind this book. Guess we should press the button.
And they all blew up. Whoa! That's cool.
What was that sound?
Sounded like something really big was moving.
It came from the top floor.
Alright, let's go check it out.
Alright.
Alright, this handle's gonna open the door for me. Man, no matter how hard we pull, this thing isn't going anywhere. Looks like it's probably locked. It's a thick metal door. There's a handle in the middle of it, though. Come on, door, open!
Nope.
Nothing.
Won't open.
Might as well try to open a wall. I know you're feeling kind of rushed, but you do realize that's pointless, don't you? It's not going to get you anywhere. There's only one thing we can do. Let's go.
What's that?
Ooh, Roman numerals.
This looks like an output monitor. The letters you type in on the keyboard will show up here. So 13, 14, 10, 13.
Yeah.
So M, N, J, M. The keyboard in front of the numbers. And 4 Roman numerals on the wall. Gotta be a hint of some sort. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Yeah, just J.
Yeah.
Do you think we just need to put in the numbers from the wall on the keyboard?
No, you can't. Keyboard doesn't have any number keys. You can't type in stuff like 3 or 4.
And that means...
Well, I bet you gotta type something in on it.
Yeah, but you can only enter letters.
And it looks like you can only enter 4 letters.
Let's see how it works. So you need to hit enter once you type in the letters. You can erase what you type with clear. Okay, I get the basic operations. Let's give it a shot.
Alright.
Well, that was the obvious answer. 13, 14, 10, 13.
Want to get the root of it?
Damn it! I just don't get this. What the hell's the point of these Roman... What's Snake doing? These Roman numerals. If you convert them to Arabic numerals, you have 13, 14, 10, and 13. True. Well, this keyboard only has letters. We can only enter 4 letters. Then why don't you just convert the numbers to letters? Convert the numbers to letters?
We just did that.
13. That's 14, right? Yeah. 10, 13.
Yeah. Weird.
Oh, hold on. 10, 11, 12, 13. 14. 6. Wait, how did I get that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. 14. 10. Oops. DFBD. Okay, let's get another hint. Ah, why isn't this working?
Hey, Junpei, I was thinking, isn't this kind of like that other one?
Other one what?
Come on, you remember. The one in the captain's room.
You think we're going to subtract 9 from these? So, 4. Alright, let's try this again.
Dead. That's nasty.
Yay! You did it, Junpei. It's unlocked now.
Good job, Junpei.
Whoa there, don't get too excited. Password was dead, remember? Just makes me think whatever's waiting for us isn't good.
So what? Jeez, you're such an old lady. You can't be worrying about stuff like that. I mean, come on. We just got it to unlock, didn't we? Let's go. Hurry up.
Maybe you need 2 people to...
Alright, Handel. It's time we got this over with.
Might need 2 people to...
Damn it! I can't get it open. This thing won't even budge.
What? Why not? Put in the password. What else do we have to do?
Maybe you need to open 2 of them.
Then that means...
It's the other door. Seriously?
Or it's just... Come on, guys. It's not that...
Alright, let's get this thing open.
Or... Okay, never mind then. Weird.
I don't like that first door.
That first door can suck it. I thought it was going to be one of those things you had to have 2 people simultaneously open it or something. The door opened, and Junpei and the others leapt through it. But no sooner had they done so than the clang of metal on metal rang out behind them. They spun around. The door they just come through had slammed shut. Junpei grabbed hold of it with both hands and pulled with all his strength.
Damn it! Looks like it locks automatically. Is there any other way out?
But
Well, there's another door over on the right. There's a card reader next to it. Got a red light on it, though, so I'm pretty sure it's locked, too. But there is a card reader, right? Yeah. And perhaps if we find a key card, we could open the door and leave. Oh, yeah, that might work, but... Another room.
hey, wait a minute. Are you saying we're gonna have to search through this room for one little card?
Oh man.
They took a second to look at the room they found themselves in. What the... It was filled with piles upon piles of all manner of things. The only word that could describe it was chaotic. It was like a tornado had passed through, followed by a giant who had picked it up and shaken the entire room a few times. Joy's heart fell. Clover and Seven looked as though they were about to cry.
Well, we can sit down and wait to die, if that's what you'd prefer. I rather doubt that, however, so it would be wise to start looking. We haven't much time. Let's find that key card. Oh, and the Neptune key as well. We won't be able to get through the hallway without it. Alright then. Let's begin.
Damn it! Not this again! They are so out of time. Like, you guys are dead. You guys are just dead. You're lucky we're playing a game that's like suspending the clock. Okay. Jug.
Oh, that's the map from the captain's quarters.
Oh. Hey, Junpei.
I feel like I've
sorry.
seen this before.
I feel like I've seen this before.
I feel like I've seen this before.
New material.
Look, Junpei, the rust on here looks like Elvis's face.
Yeah. How exciting.
Gosh, this desk is really big, and it feels really sturdy.
Yeah, it does seem pretty heavy duty. I suppose it belongs to whoever uses this room, wouldn't you say? There are piles of crap everywhere. Yeah, this place is a mess.
It's so messy, I don't know where to start.
Some of this crap looks familiar. I think a lot of these are parts of the puzzle we solved in the other rooms.
Uh-huh.
If that's true, then this room could be Zero's laboratory. Perhaps Zero would shut himself in this room to devise the machines and puzzles he'd need to see his plan come to fruition. Just a pile of junk. There's nothing useful here. Okay, good. We don't have to look at that. There's a control panel in front of the big screen here. I wonder if any of these buttons do anything. Something on the screen now. What's this? There are 15 cells here with numbers and letters in them.
Let me see that. Ah, I see. So whenever you touch a cell, the ones next to it turn on or off. Just gotta use them to make the all cells on the right and the bottom green.
Hey, Junpei, I found this piece of paper under things. You want to take a look at it? Do you think this might have something to do with the puzzle?
This paper Clover gave me. A bunch of numbers and letters connected by equal signs on it. Just like you said, this is probably related to the puzzle on the screen somehow. Thanks, Clover. This really helps. Okay. Alright, let's go back and try again. Here, it looks like I just need to make all of the cells all green. Well, that's useful. So, I think we're gonna want this going. And, B and C and 12. No. See, F and 5. 21. Okay, so we need all those. There we go.
You did it, Junpei! You're so smart.
You seem to have done an excellent job and solved the puzzle. Just what I would have expected of you, Junpei. Hey, come on, you're embarrassing me.
Whoa, don't get cocky, kid. We don't got time for that. Look at this. Check out the right edge of the control panel. The lid slid open and something came out.
A cross emblem. Okay.
A blade shaped like a shield. With a cross engraved on it. Well, that helps. Oh, maybe it does. Alright, let's just tap a few keys, see if we can wake this thing up. Damn. No dice. No, nothing happens when I mess with it, though. So, it says to me that we've got 4 puzzles here. Uh-oh. I see you.
Junpei, it looks like a compass on here.
Yeah, now I get it.
What do you mean?
I see you weren't there, Clover, but I solved a puzzle like this one in the wheelhouse. I think I just need to do the same thing here.
The same thing?
The important part is the nautical table we just found. Just have to match up the directions on the compass with the lines on the nautical table. Use the steering wheel in the wheelhouse, but this time, I think I'm gonna use the wheel attached to the side here.
Okay then, show me now.
Of course. You had to run through the instructions. Looks like it probably works the same way the steering wheel in the wheelhouse did. If I just touch the direction I want it to turn to, the compass will turn that direction. Then I just gotta press stop when the compass is pointing where I want it to. I think something will happen if I can do it right. Alright, let's do this!
Okay, let me look at the...
Oh, good, we have it.
Nice.
So it looks like we're
Ooh,
actually going this way.
It's different now, yeah.
So we're gonna go south. Puzzle's not so bad when you've got the answer right in front of you. And then we're going to go west. And then that's southeast. And then northeast. And then just east. And north. And then east.
Yeah, you did it, Junpei. I said Junpei, and I know that. Good boy. Who's a good boy?
Ah, knock it off!
Hey, we don't have time for screwing around right now. Check out the right side of the monitor. Just kind of slid open and something came out.
Oh, yeah.
I heard a noise too. You know that big box in the hall by the exit? I think it made a noise. Like something unlocking, you know?
Nice, huh?
Helm.
Oh, that's what we're just at. Something written on these pieces of paper. Looks like we've got 3 sheets of the stuff. No, not Morse code.
No.
Well, that's a conspicuous button there. Piles of crap everywhere.
It's a pretty impressive mess.
If we try and search every one of these, we're gonna be at it till the cows come home.
Well, that doesn't seem too bad. We won't have to go bring them in ourselves then.
Don't you get smart with me, kid.
How about we deal with this later, okay, guys? Maybe we should try something more promising. These monitors hang down from the ceiling. Each screen shows a room on the ship. Oh, that's the log. Okay, what am I missing? sure what stations we haven't gotten to. Oh, here's one. Piece of paper in here. Not sure without taking a closer look, but I think it might be a clue.
GP, we don't need this anymore, do we?
Getting awfully close there, Clover. No, I don't think so. Yeah, this is for a puzzle we already solved. Look at me. A whole buttload of drawers in this cabinet.
Not just a load, a buttload.
Oh, shit.
Do you want to take... Maybe we should take a picture of that.
No,
Or-
this is... Yeah,
Alright.
we already did that.
Sorry.
Well, let's try putting these in to start.
Well, they
Let's
let
just drop
them do
the
that?
emblem of the steering wheel in here.
Ooh.
Whoa! Well, now we've got something on the monitors, at least.
What's that?
Looks like some kind of puzzle.
I wonder if these are the rules. Here, I'll read them to you. When you touch a numbered area, that area will be selected and it will turn blue. To indicate this, touching a numbered ball after selecting an area will cause that ball to be moved to that area. However, you cannot move the red balls. You can only move 3 to 5 balls into a single area. Press the check button once you have moved all of the balls except for the red balls, which you cannot move. The digital root of the balls in an area must match the number for that area. That's it.
I still don't really get it. However, like they say, practice makes prefects. Let's give it a shot. Don't you mean practice makes perfect? Hey! Let's see you solve the next one. Then you can make fun of me. Okay, so 6 and 3. I wonder, can we do this? Yay! Okay, this is it, right?
But nothing's happened.
There's still 3 more indentations left empty. I imagine something will happen when they are all filled. Doesn't that seem likely? Across a weird circle and some kind of waffle pattern.
Hey, Junpei. Something just showed up on the screen.
Sorry. This puzzle sure looks a lot like the last one.
Yeah, but there's more of those red balls you can't move.
The numbers for each area are different too. It looks
like
like... Sorry.
Looks like it's got the same rules as the last one, though. Sure you don't want to double check that?
I'll be fine. If I get confused, I can just look at the screen over there, right? Anyway, like they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Let's give it a shot. Isn't that a picture is worth 1,000 words? Hey, shut it! At least I'm trying, alright? Okay. So we can no longer get nice and cozy. Ooh, I don't think this is right. It's 9. Can we form 7? No, we can't. So that's 12. We need to get 16, so we can't do that. Oh, this is tough. So yeah, that's 10, 18, 19, 20. Just too much. so how much do we need to get to 1? We need to take 10 off.
It's awesome, Junpei! There's only 2 left now. You can do it!
It's so small. Wonder what it is.
Yeah, no idea.
Damn it. Looks like this thing's locked. It's not moving.
It's pretty obvious how we're supposed to open it. These fans must be for ventilation. I can see walls on the other side of them. And metal bars in front of the fan openings. I don't think we can get out that way. Oh, here we go. The shutter looks pretty sturdy. Framed with black and yellow warning stripes. Alright, let's open it. Oh, holy shit!
What?
This is pretty damn creepy. There's a coffin in there. A coffin. A coffin. Oh man. The 7th thing. Yeah, he's all pale. He's thinking the same thing I am.
No way. Could this be...
I'm sorry, but what's going on?
It's a coffin. I wonder if there's a vampire in it.
Right, I guess Clover and Snake don't know the story. And I can't bring myself to tell them. Well, at any rate, let's have a look around. No plaque on the coffin. Snake's touching it. All ice. Ah, the 2 machines. Holy shit. Now, this is serious. Oh well, let's open it, shall we? Clover, if you would give me a hand.
Okay. I got it.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ha! No luck. Doesn't seem to be ready to open.
Yeah, but it's not like it's screwed shut or something.
Yes, I believe it's locked in some other way.
Hey, Seven, do you think you can open up with your superhuman strength?
No, I
What's wrong?
think I'll pass on this one, okay?
What the heck?
Very well, we'll just have to give up on the coffin for now. Let's look around the room a little more, shall we?
Come on, and access the field or something.
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest knowledge beneath the navel of the gigantic. Is that actually true? Dude, I thought I was onto something with that. Nope.
A pipe.
A pipe?
A pipe.
A pipe. No cabinet.
We have the Morse code. This ladder is part of this machine. It's really dim though. It's got a map of the world on it, but I can barely see it.
I guess you can't. I don't know.
See what happens when I... Oh.
What?
Whoa! Oh, now we've got something on the screen at least. Huh? What is this? Oh, wait a minute.
Morse?
I saw something like this when I figured out that Morse code puzzle back in the communications office. Morse code? Yeah. The dots on here look like dits for Morse code. There's 2 dots on the first line, 4 on the second, and 1 on the last. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, perhaps you should give it a shot anyway. Alright, I'll try. Before I do that, though, I'll run through the instructions. If you just tap the button, it'll enter a dit. If I hold the button down, it'll enter a da. Once you enter an answer, it'll automatically determine if it was the correct answer or not. You can also switch through the code sheets I've got by touching the 3 icons over on the right. Alright, let's do this. Oh, good. They let me review. So 2 is I. 4. Wait, do we not have 4? H. And E. IHE. Have you figured out what you're supposed to enter here, Junpei? Looks like the word is supposed to go here is 3 letters. It's got 3 lines, and I think each line is 1 letter. I see. If that's the case, then perhaps the letters you need are made up of 2 symbols, 4 symbols, and 1 symbol, respectively. After all, isn't that what you just said? One line has 2 spaces, the next 4, and the last only a single space. I see. In other words, I've got to enter either the dots or the dashes. Instead of 2, then instead of 4, and then just 1. Yes, well, so it would seem. Through the instructions. Okay, so maybe we can deduce it that way then. We have the number of spaces, but we don't know whether they're dits or das. Okay, so the easiest one to deduce is the 1-letter one. It's either an E or a T. Lith, could I get you to write down E and then below it T?
Hang on.
And put it to the right side, because we're going to try to deduce a word from this.
Okay, hang on. I'll make a new one. No, I'll just cover these up. I don't need them. Do we think we need this anymore?
No.
Okay. Erase all. Erase all. Thank you. Alright. So,
On the right side of the word, put E and T.
E and T.
Okay, and on the left side of the word, put A,
I,
M,
M,
and one sec.
like this or this?
Downwards.
Okay.
Here's the other one I'm missing. A, I, M, N.
N. Okay.
Okay, and in the center column, it's going to be a big one.
Okay.
B, C, F, H, J, L, P, Q, V, X, Y, Z. Okay, so
Okay.
first let's take a look at what 4 dashes would be. All dashes. So it would start with M. There's 4 dashes. There's no 4 dashes. Okay, so we do have to solve this. Sorry, can you zoom that out so I can see them all together?
Okay.
There's no vowels in the middle there. We can spell ice, and we can spell ace. Oh, hey, that was it. I see. It seems you have solved the puzzle, Junpei. Excellent work. The answer was ice. How did you know? All I had to do was listen to the sounds the machine made. After that, it was a trivial matter to decode them. Ah, yes. I believe I heard a noise from somewhere on the right of the device after you solved the puzzle. It sounded rather like something sliding open. Do you see anything that could have made that noise? Yeah, that's true. Ah, yes, one more thing. I heard a sound from behind the shutter. Perhaps the coffin is unlocked now. So, what?
He's gonna check it out now.
Yep.
Let's do it. We might have to say the thing.
Alright, fine! I'll open it! Okay, Junpei, you can do this. It's just a box. It's just a box. Oh, holy shit, this is a coffin! There's gonna be something horrible in there! There's no way! Okay. Deep breaths. There you go.
Oh man, there's nobody in there. Shit, can't believe I was so scared or something like that.
What do you mean, nobody? Were you expecting someone to be in there?
It's a long story. Ask Junpei about it sometime.
Well, just like Seven said, there's nothing in there. There's something in there, though. Well, two somethings, actually. What is that?
What?
Wait. No.
Come back! No! Come back! Coffin! Give us your stuffs!
Just like clicking it. There we go.
Two things on the bottom of the coffin.
A key and
Looks like
another
we've got a
button.
plate with an emblem on it and...
The Neptune key! We finally found it! Now we can get through the hallway.
That's correct, Clover. But we need to get out of this room first, you know?
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's get the hell out of here as quickly as possible.
I don't have any objections to that. I don't think we'll use the Neptune key in this room. It's really important, though, so I'll keep it in my pocket for now. As far as this other thing goes...
For a change of pace, I'll put it in my shoe.
Alright, I guess nothing happens if I put that in there.
Junpei, don't you think maybe that's the wrong emblem? You know that the symbols are engraved in each of the indentations? There are numbers in there too.
Oh, come on. Do you really need this?
It's the order they're in. And they've already put the steering wheel and cross in, so the next would be...
Oh, man.
Yes, but in the emblem of the secret code.
Damn, this puzzle looks a lot like...
Looks like this.
Looks like the rules are the same, though.
Don't you think you should double check it?
This is the third time I've done this. It'll be fine. This is... If you can't think of anything clever, please don't strain yourself. You might hurt something. Shut up! Just give me a break, alright? Think of something. Okay, so 2 7s. That's not going to work, though. Well, 7 has to go into one of these. The only way we can make 9 is 4 5. We do it with another combination of numbers. 8 4 6. Yeah, that works. Oh, no, wait, it doesn't. Because then we only have 2 5. Yeah. So if it wasn't blatant enough, this is how you open doors. Oh, wait, yeah. Evens could add up to an odd number. Because of digital root. Excellent work, Junpei. You've only got one left. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. See what happens when I put the emblem of the coffin into this indentation.
This is the 4th one. This puzzle looks a lot like the last couple.
I think this is probably the last one.
Once we solve this puzzle, I'm sure something will happen. Alright! I'll solve it in no time! 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have enough numbers.
What?
Oh boy. I just don't get this at all. Oh wait, I could just put all 5 into one, can't I? Durr. Not only that, but I think I noticed something suspicious about the numbers that were read it out.
Mm-hmm.
One, 3, 6, and 9.
No, maybe not. So that's 9, 9, and 8. Huh? Where did that noise come from? Underneath the keyboard?
You won the Jeopardy!
Way to go, Junpei!
Damn, Junpei. Good job.
Hey, did you hear something just now? Yes, I heard that as well. From the bottom left corner of the desk, I believe. Picture?
In the drawer was a single picture. He picked it up. It was a photograph of 4 men. Involuntarily, Junpei's eyebrows shot up. He'd seen 3 of them before. On the right was a man with a mustache. The same man they'd found murdered in the captain's quarters. He'd been wearing the 0 bracelet when they found him. The second from the left was a man wearing glasses and a doctor's coat. He was the 9th man, the one who'd worn the bracelet number 9. He had gone to door number 5 alone and met an unpleasant end. Finally, the man on the very left, the man in the pinstripe suit.
Oh man, that's Ace!
Yeah, I guess it is.
No doubt about it.
Seven and Clover had come over to peer over Jupiter's shoulder. But what did it mean? What was Ace doing in the picture? Perhaps more importantly, why were the 9th man and the cap in it as well? As Junpei looked closer, he noticed the expression on each man's face. Their smiles suggested that they were close, at least to some degree. But how and why? What was the real relationship between these 4 men? Snake's voice broke into Junpei's thoughts.
You say Ace is in that picture? Yeah. Doesn't look like it was taken recently, though. Ace, the 9th man, and Cap all look about 10 years younger. Ah, so the 9th man and the man you found murdered in the captain's quarter are also on the picture? Yeah. Is there anyone else? Or are there only 3 people in this picture? I'm afraid I can't see it. No, there's one more guy. Got kind of long hair. Looks smart, but a little cold. He's the only one I don't recognize.
Snake knit his eyebrows.
What's the date of the photograph? Doesn't have one. Did you look on the back? The back? Yes, the reverse. The other side.
Junpei flipped the picture over. There it was. To be precise, it wasn't a date, but it was certainly significant. He read it out loud so that Snake would not be left in the dark.
Praying for the success of the Nonary project, with Nijisaki, Kubota, and Musashi Do.
The Nonary Project. Nijisaki, Kubota, Musashido. Junpei immediately flipped the picture back over. That meant the 4 men in the picture had run the Nonary game 9 years ago. Only Hongo had not been mentioned on the back, which Junpei felt meant he had written those words himself. But what surprised Junpei was not this revelation, but the fact that it felt nothing like a revelation. It felt obvious. That their true identities did not come as a surprise was what Junpei found most surprising. Why wasn't he surprised? Junpei had just discovered that Ace had run the Nonori project, but he felt no spark of excitement or surprise. Nothing. It was almost as if he'd already known.
Ah, of course. I understand now.
Junpei looked over at Snake. In his own confusion, he missed the dark look on the other man's face.
Ace was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. He was the one who invented the game 9 years ago. He was Gentaro Hongo. Ace is Hongo?
Even as he asked, Junpei felt as though he'd already known. It was as if someone had whispered into his head that yes, of course Ace was Hongo.
I had my suspicions from the beginning. Their voices were familiar. Too familiar to be a coincidence. I could never forget his voice. It was the voice of the devil.
Ooh.
I couldn't be sure, though. After all, I had no way to check. I certainly couldn't ask him. Even if I had known, however, I would never have told you. Zero made it quite clear what would have happened if I did.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Huh?
I didn't know that Ace was Hongo.
Oh, yes. I suppose you wouldn't have. 9 years ago, you were in Building Q in Nevada. But Hongo was in the Gigantic with us.
I know. That's why I didn't know what Hongo looked like. But why? Why didn't you tell me? I mean, I'm your sister, right? You could have told me.
I'm sorry. I apologize for keeping this from you. But if I'd told you, Clover, you would have told everyone else. And if you did, then I would have been forced to tell them about what happened 9 years ago. I had to prevent that.
Clover and Snake's conversation wasn't of particular interest to Junpei. He still couldn't make sense out of his strange feelings of knowledge. He was trying to organize his thoughts when he heard Seven's voice.
Hey, Junpei. You think I could borrow that picture for a sec?
He had no reason to say no, so Junpei handed the picture over. Seven stared at the picture and began to mutter 4 names of the project leaders over and over to himself.
Hongo, Kubota, Nijisaki, Masashido.
His brow was furrowed and his face was flushed.
Hongo, Kubota, Nijisaki, Masashido.
He chanted their names to himself, pacing back and forth across the floor.
Hongo, Kubota, Nijisaki, Masashido.
Seven shouldn't have known their names. After all, he hadn't been there when Junpei and Snake had spoken of them in the library. But as Junpei watched him pace, it was clear that he did know them.
Hey, Seven. Do you...
Shut it! Just be quiet.
His eyes were red, and Junpei could see sweat beginning to bead on his forehead.
I'm this close to remembering! This close!
He was sweating heavily now, but his lips were dry.
Hongo, Kubota, Nijisaki, Masashido, Cradle Pharmaceutical, Nonori Project.
Then he stopped. Seven sat down the picture and looked at it, and looked at the red light near his feet. His eyes narrowed. Then suddenly his eyes went wide, and he shot up straight.
Shit.
What?
What's wrong?
Holy shit. This is nuts.
What's nuts?
Remember,
Remember what?
everything.
Everything?
Yeah, I remember all of it. The memory's back.
Yay!
I remember what happened before I got snatched.
Seven's voice was filled with excitement. Shock and excitement had frozen Junpei in place along with Snake and Clover.
Let me tell you what happened.
And at this point, I am going to need to turn off the mic for a little bit and discuss something, so be right back.
Alright?
Alright, we're back just in time to say that this is going to be it for tonight. It's starting to get late, and there's still a bit more of the story to go. So we'll be picking this up again next week.
So we'll see you after Christmas.
Thank you all for coming out. Enjoy your winter solstice. Until next time, take care.
Bye.